What if I told you? Your brain has been lying to you your entire life. Tonight, we're going to uncover why. Welcome. I'm Professor Hollow. Here we don't just study the brain. We study why it makes us love, fear, overthink, and remember the moments we'd rather forget. Tonight, let's explore one of its greatest mysteries. Imagine receiving 10 compliments today, then one stranger insults you. Which one do you think you'll remember tonight? Most people already know the answer, but almost nobody knows why. Your brain has a built-in negativity bias. The amygdala, the brain's alarm system, reacts twice as strongly to bad experiences as it does to good ones. For thousands of years, remembering danger kept your ancestors alive. A single mistake could mean death. So your brain evolved to hold on to pain and let go of pleasure. A child drops their ice cream and cries for an hour. A businessman loses one deal and forgets 10 wins. An old woman still replays an argument from 40 years ago. Different lives, different ages, the same brain. Here's the part no one tells you. Your brain isn't trying to make you miserable. It's trying to keep you alive. Now let's go deeper. Your brain doesn't treat all memories equally. Negative experiences are processed in the amygdala, the oldest, most primitive part of your brain. Positive experiences, they pass through the prefrontal cortex, the rational, thinking brain. One is instinct, the other is thought, and instinct always wins. Scientists call this negativity bias. And it doesn't just affect what you remember. It affects every decision you make, every relationship you build, every risk you take or don't take. Think about the last time someone criticized your work. You probably replayed that moment for hours, maybe days. Now think about the last time someone praised you. How long did that feeling last? An hour, maybe less. That's not weakness. That's biology. In 1998, psychologists John Cacioppo and Gary Bernson proved that the brain responds more strongly, more quickly, and more lastingly to negative stimuli than positive ones. They called it the negativity dominance effect. Your brain is literally wired to hold on to what hurts. But here is what makes it fascinating. The stronger the negative memory, the more your brain uses it as a reference point for the future. It becomes a lens. And everything you see from that point forward is filtered through it. A woman who was betrayed once finds it almost impossible to fully trust again. Not because she is broken, but because her brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do: protect her. A man who failed publicly as a child still hesitates before speaking in a room full of people. Decades later, the memory is old, but the brain treats it like it happened yesterday. Let me tell you about 3 people. You may not know their names, but you will recognize their pain. The first is a woman named Sarah. She is 34 years old, successful, kind. She has a good life. But 5 years ago, someone she loved deeply left without explanation. And now every time someone gets close to her, her brain whispers the same warning. Don't trust this. You know how it ends. Sarah doesn't want to feel this way, but her brain isn't asking for her permission. It is doing its job, protecting her from a pain it never forgot. The second is a man named Daniel. He is 47 years old. He has built a successful business from nothing. But when he was 12 years old, he stood in front of his class to give a speech, and his mind went completely blank. The room laughed. He sat down, and something in him closed. Today, Daniel avoids public speaking at all costs. He turns down opportunities. He stays quiet in rooms where he should be heard. Not because he lacks confidence, but because his brain is still protecting that 12-year-old boy. The third is an elderly woman named Margaret. She is 71 years old. She sits by her window every evening and replays an argument she had with her daughter 22 years ago. The argument lasted 15 minutes, but the memory has lasted 2 decades. Margaret has forgiven her daughter. Her daughter has forgiven her. But the brain does not always receive the memo. 3 people, 3 decades of pain, all rooted in the same biological truth. The brain remembers what hurt, far longer than it remembers what healed. Now, I want to tell you something that most people never hear, something that took scientists decades to understand, and something that, once you know it, you cannot unknow it. Your negativity bias is not a flaw. It is not a weakness. It is not something that is wrong with you. It is the most sophisticated survival system ever built. Think about what it has done for you. Every time you touched something hot as a child, your brain made sure you never forgot it. Every time someone broke your trust, your brain built a wall to protect you. Every time you failed, your brain cataloged exactly what went wrong, so you would never make the same mistake again. Your brain has been working overtime every single day of your life to keep you alive, to keep you safe, to keep you here. The problem is not the system. The problem is that the system was built for a world that no longer exists. A world where every shadow could be a predator, where every stranger was a potential threat, where every mistake could be your last. You no longer live in that world, but your brain has not received the update. And so it still fires the same alarms for an email from your boss, for a comment on your post, for a conversation that did not go the way you hoped. Your ancient brain is fighting modern battles with prehistoric weapons. And the first step to changing that is simply understanding it. So what do you do with this information? How do you live in a modern world with an ancient brain? The answer is not to fight it. You cannot rewire thousands of years of evolution overnight, and anyone who tells you otherwise is selling you something. The answer is awareness. When you feel that familiar heaviness after a criticism, when you replay a conversation at 3 in the morning, when you hesitate before taking a risk you know is right. Pause, take one breath, and say these words to yourself. My brain is doing its job. This is not a threat. I am safe. That single moment of awareness is the difference between being controlled by your biology and understanding it. Because here is the truth that Professor Hollow wants you to carry with you tonight. You are not your thoughts. You are the one watching them. Your brain will always lean toward the dark. That is its nature. But you have something your ancestors never had. The ability to observe your own mind, to name what you feel, to choose what you believe. That is not a small thing. That is everything. Sarah is learning to step through the doorway. Daniel is learning to speak in the room. Margaret is learning to let the argument stay in the past, where it belongs. And you are learning that the most powerful thing you can do is simply understand yourself. This has been Professor Hollow. The library is always open. Until next lesson.